and welcome to Daily Immigration News on Immigration and Jobs Talk Show. I'm your host Nipasa, bringing you the latest updates and analysis on immigration policies, trends, and their global impact. Stay tuned as we dive into today's headlines and break down the key stories shaping the immigration landscape. And the headlines for today are: Trump's crackdown on illegal immigration targets 725,000 undocumented Indians. Indian student quit part-time jobs amid Trump's visa crackdown. Massive immigration raid at Colorado nightclub sparks fear among migrants. Trump administration's Gurdwara raids in New York and New Jersey spark outrage among Sikh communities. Tennessee's immigration agenda sparks controversy in special session. Vice President Vance supports immigration raids. Expects chilling effect on illegal immigration. British grandmother faces new hurdle in 40-year fight to stay in Australia. New Zealand welcomes digital nomads with relaxed visitor visa rules. Dollar gains amid tariff concerns and Fed rate speculations. Trump administration to criminally investigate officials resisting immigration enforcement. Let's get into the details of these stories and see how they are affecting both local and international immigration policies. First up, we have Trump's crackdown on illegal immigration targets 725,000 undocumented Indians. President Donald Trump's administration has launched the largest mass deportation operation in history, targeting undocumented migrants across the United States. Among the affected groups, India ranks third with over 725,000 undocumented migrants, following Mexico and El Salvador, according to a Pew Research Center analysis. On January 22, 2025, Trump signed an executive order ramping up deportation efforts, citing the strain illegal immigration places on American resources, public safety, and the economy. In 2023 alone, 90,000 Indian nationals were apprehended attempting illegal entry into the United States. The surge in deportations underscores the administration's commitment to combating illegal immigration, leaving Indian migrants in a precarious position amid the escalating measures. Next up, we have Indian students quit part-time jobs amid Trump's visa crackdown. Indian students in the United States are quitting unauthorized part-time jobs over fears of deportation as President Donald Trump's administration enforces stricter immigration policies. While F1 visa holders can work up to 20 hours per week on campus, many had turned to off-campus jobs to manage rising living costs. Immigration experts warn that unauthorized work could lead to deportation and jeopardize future visa opportunities, including H-1B and green cards. With the rupee hitting a record low and education expenses soaring, Indian students face mounting financial pressure, adding to the uncertainty of their future in the US. Next, we have immigration raid at Colorado nightclub sparks fear among migrants. A dramatic raid at Colorado nightclub by U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration (DEA) resulted in the arrest of 50 individuals as part of President Donald Trump's intensified immigration enforcement efforts. The operation is part of a broader crackdown targeting undocumented immigrants. The raid has sent shockwaves through immigrant communities, particularly among Haitians on temporary status programs who now face heightened anxiety and the looming threat of deportation. Community leaders are calling for clarity and support amidst growing fears. Next, we have Trump administration's Gurdwara raids in New York and New Jersey spark outrage among Sikh communities. Immigration officers from the Department of Homeland Security, DHS, visited Gurdwaras in New York and New Jersey, reportedly searching for undocumented immigrants. This follows a policy reversal under President Trump that eliminates protections for sensitive areas, including places of worship. The raids have drawn sharp criticism from Sikh organizations, with leaders warning that such actions threaten religious sanctity and could deter community members from practicing their faith. DHS defended the operations, citing public safety and the enforcement of immigration laws. Sikh advocacy groups, however, have called the policy change troubling and a direct threat to religious freedoms. Tennessee's immigration agenda sparks controversy in special season. Governor Bill Lee's immigration bill, touted as one of the most extreme measures in any non-border state, has ignited heated debate in Tennessee's special legislative session. The proposal includes the creation of a state immigration enforcement division, harsher penalties for officials supporting sanctuary city policies, and visually distinctive markers on IDs for non-citizens. Critics argue the measures duplicate existing laws and could devastate the state's immigrant workforce, which contributes significantly to Tennessee's economy. Supporters, including House Leader William Lamberth, see it as a necessary step to align with President Trump's national immigration crackdown. As immigrant advocates decry the bill's potential economic and human toll, Lee insists it will keep communities safe. Debate continues as lawmakers balance immigration reforms, school voucher proposals, and disaster relief efforts. Vice President Vance supports immigration raids, expects chilling effect on illegal immigration. The Trump administration's crackdown on undocumented immigrants has intensified with Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, arresting over 1,000 individuals across the U.S. in the past weekend. Vice President J.D. Vance voiced support for the raids, which included operations at schools, and expressed hope that such measures would deter illegal immigration. Vance also hinted that raids on religious buildings are not off the table, emphasizing public safety concerns. This escalation comes as federal agencies including the DEA, FBI, and ATF joined ICE in executing the operations. Acting Deputy Attorney General Emil Bove stated that the administration would use all available tools to protect the homeland. Critics, including Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker and immigrant rights group, have condemned the aggressive approach, warning of its impact on long-time immigrant communities. Legal challenges have already been filed in Chicago to block specific operations. British grandmother faces new hurdle in 40-year fight to stay in Australia. Mary Ellis, a 73-year-old British-born grandmother, faces fresh challenges as Australian immigration officials demand she apply for visas under her former married name, Mary McHugo, a name she hasn't used since 1970s. Ellis, who has lived in Australia for over 40 years, is making her 35th plea for a bridging visa to avoid deportation. Despite spending decades in Australia, her trips to the UK in the early 1980s disqualified her from absorbed citizenship under migration rules. Migration agent Stanley Schneider called the name requirement absurd, pointing out that all of Ellis's Australian documentation is under her current name. Public support for Ellis continues to grow, with many Australians rallying behind her right to remain in the country. New Zealand welcomes digital nomads with relaxed visitor visa rules. Starting Monday, tourists visiting New Zealand can now work remotely for foreign employers under relaxed visitor visa rules. The initiative aimed at attracting digital nomads is expected to boost tourism and economic growth, according to Economic Growth Minister Nicola Willis. Tourism, New Zealand's second largest export earner, generates nearly 11 billion New Zealand dollars annually and supports 200,000 jobs. Immigration Minister Erica Stranford noted that remote workers staying over 90 days could consider tax implications, while Tourism Minister Louise Upston highlighted the potential for longer stays and higher spending. However, visitors working directly for New Zealand employers or requiring physical presence for their jobs must still apply for the appropriate visas. This change positions New Zealand as a premier destination for flexible, modern work styles. Dollar gains amid tariff concerns and Fed rate speculations. The US dollar strengthened on Monday as tariff worries resurfaced following President Donald Trump's threat to impose sweeping measures on Colombia. This comes after Colombia rejected US military fights deporting migrants, prompting retaliatory tariffs and sanctions. The dollar index rose to 107.6, buoyed by a weaker euro and Mexican peso, which slid 0.8% to 20.426 per dollar. Meanwhile, the yen gained 0.4% after the Bank of Japan raised interest rates to their highest since 2008. Investors are eyeing the Federal Reserve's two-day meeting this week, where rates are expected to hold steady. But potential clues for a March rate cut could emerge amid cooling inflation trends. Central banks, including the European Central Bank, remain a key focus as global monetary policy developments unfold. Trump administration to criminally investigate officials resisting immigration enforcement. The Trump administration has ordered federal prosecutors to investigate and potentially criminally charge state and local officials who resist or obstruct federal immigration enforcement. A memo from Acting Deputy Attorney General Emil Bove emphasizes that federal law prohibits such resistance and could lead to charges for defrauding the U.S. or harboring undocumented immigrants. The directive underscores Trump's aggressive stance on immigration, reinstating policies from his first term that prioritized prosecuting immigration crimes, including those with mandatory minimum sentences. The Justice Department is also tasked with supporting Trump's executive orders on immigration, citing national security concerns such as threats from gangs and drug cartels. That's all for today's daily immigration news. Thank you for tuning in. And if you found today's updates helpful, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel, Immigration and Jobs Talk Show, to stay informed on the latest immigration news. I'm Napasa, and I'll see you in our next update. Take care and stay safe.